Real hard about what you want to be. Step 4. Everybody just do your thing.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Wake up.
Welcome to Tales from the Field. We are back and better than ever. My name is Bradley Ball, and it is so good to have you with us. On Tuesday, we had Andrew Nathan, Principal Engineering Manager from the Azure Fast Track Infrastructure team. Most importantly, Andrew is a veteran serving his country and our allies. Andrew talked with us about some of his shared experiences transitioning from the military to Microsoft. We discussed IT security, so many great things that we discussed on that show. Neeraj hosted. I was not disqualified. As a matter of fact, I won, and I will be hosting this next week. However, he did add a wrinkle in there that I could not disqualify Josh. I still don't know how that works. I'm very sad and disappointed. But next week is Live 360 week. It is here and it is upon us, and we will be broadcasting live from the conference on that Tuesday. If you haven't seen that previous episode, don't worry. Stay right there. These shows are posted to our YouTube site after the live show, so you can stream them at your convenience. And if you'd like to interact with the show, you can go over to YouTube. You can go to LinkedIn at Sequel Balls. You can go to Twitter, Josh Ludeman, Neeraj Jafari, Tales from the Field, Sequel Balls, and comment on the stream. If you do, it will appear, and one of my wonderful co-hosts will be able to see those streams, those comments, and be perhaps added to our show. A quick reminder, in the United States, Veterans Day is Friday, 11/11, and we want to take a moment to thank all of our veterans out there for their service, their courage, and their continued sacrifice. If you see a veteran, thank them for their service. If you see them in line at Starbucks, maybe buy them a cup of coffee. Do a good deed, volunteer for an organization, or donate some money towards an organization that helps out veterans. It's our time to say thank you for the wonderful and great things they've done for us. But wait, there's more. As we discussed, Live 360 is next week. The PASS Summit is next week. These are very big weeks for the IT community. You want to make sure you pay attention. There will be a lot of announcements that come about. As a matter of fact, our week starts on Sunday. Josh Ludeman, myself, and Buck Woody are at Live 360, and we are delivering our Ground to Cloud workshop. Go to aka.ms/live360 to be able to take a look at our Ground to Cloud workshop. Sign up, and we hope to see you there. As if it couldn't get any better than that, let me introduce my co-host. I am joined by Andreas Padilla, Josh Ludeman, and the epitome of amazing, the excellence of execution, the one, the only, Neeraj Jafari. Andreas, it's been a week since I last saw you. How was your week, buddy, and how was your weekend?
The distance made my heart grow fonder. I do miss you guys. It's been a great week. Busy, very busy on my end, doing for some reason, a lot of Kafka work. Hurricane rolled through, West Palm Beach where I am. So that had a, little hurricane party. But all in all, it's great to be back, you guys. Good to see you.
Absolutely. Our thoughts with everybody who is impacted from the hurricane. As a matter of fact, yourself, myself, Josh, we are all in that area. Our good buddy, Andrew Nathan, who was on the show, he also is in the Florida area. They lost power. Thank goodness they got it back not too long ago. So we hope if you are out there and you are in the hurricane area, stay inside, stay safe. Those wind gusts are still really high up there, and maybe watch our show, interact with it. That's a good, safe way to be able to ride out a hurricane and also mix up a hurricane. I love that suggestion, Andreas. What better way to make it through a hurricane than with a hurricane in hand? Josh, how are you riding out the hurricane?
No, I'm good. Couple cocktails last night. Of course, it's a Florida requirement for a hurricane. You don't necessarily have to have a hurricane, but to have a cocktail of some kind. But we made out pretty well though. We had one casualty of the hurricane. We have a fake plant in a pot by our front door, and it tipped over. Other than that, we're good.
Hey. I was going to say, thank goodness, this is a category 1, right? This is so much lower than last time.
Was it because of the cocktail or was it because of the hurricane?
I'm not going to answer that question and plead the fifth.
Don't drink and garden. Or maybe you should be drinking a lot if you find yourself gardening. Bloody Marys, anyone?
If I'm gardening, I have drank a lot. We'll leave it right there.
I could just imagine that. What's Josh doing outside gardening at this hour? Well,
Well, he put away half a bottle of vodka. It's rough.
All right, so today is our community roundtable show, and we have great content from the community that we have either looked at this week. It goes along with the theme for Tuesday. We also had a call for content. This is the first call for content that we actually put out, and we had a lot of wonderful people actually respond to that call for content, and we've got their content in this show. There we go. Dan Taylor. No, good to see you there, buddy. No better way to pick weeds than by drinking. I guess, that does help it go faster or slower. I'm not sure which one. Depends on what your game is there.
Yep.
Personally, my game is right now, I've got two strapping lads that are either in college or just about to go to college. And it is well worth my time to pay them money to pull weeds while I sit inside and have a nice drink. Okay. Smarter, not harder, right?
That's the recommendation.
Maybe that should be a topic one day. Smarter, not harder.
I don't know about that.
Maybe not.
We can't give away all the tools to success.
Yeah, that's all right. So first up, I'm going to start off with the most impressive man that we have on this panel, Neeraj Jafar. And that's not just me saying that. We all agree. We had agreed. Well, mostly. Josh agrees too. Okay. Neeraj, you're up first. You have Data Security Explained, Challenges and Solutions by Mike Tieran.
Yep. So sticking to the theme of this week, data security that we discussed on Tuesday, Mike has been giving a good overview of what data security, what type of breaches are out there, what data needs to be protected in there, what types of breaches happen in day-to-day life, right? I mean, I know we have been hacked, people hear big companies being hacked and all of them, and then how we need to stay in compliance. So a very good article to read about it and see how you can protect your data in cloud and go from there.
Absolutely. I love the little tree. It's a nice graphical feature to have in a blog, but it's a very beautiful way to walk through this. And the thing is, I understand some of this is not necessarily the deep dive content of here's how we put these things in place, but it's important really when you're looking at data security like this to be able to understand the broad overview of that topic. We can take data encryption or dynamic data masking, and we can Google or Bing, right? Bing, it's not bad.
Bingle, dare I say?
I don't know. That just sounds dirty. But we can search for on whatever web browser that we would prefer to search. We can search for dynamic data masking for, say, SQL Server, or we could look at data encryption and understand how that works in a cloud provider like Azure. But making sure that we get these concepts actually covered, that's a really key thing to make sure that we understand this from a discussion point. I absolutely love it, Neeraj. Great pick. So next up, I've got data science for Power BI developers, and this is from Sandeep Pawar. And I got to tell you, this was one of our call for context. Sandeep submitted his blog. I took a look, and this is actually also the meeting for their user group. So this ticks two things off for me right away, right? Like, I love people who are active in the community, who are producing content. I mean, but how fantastic that this is a presentation that he gave on machine learning, data science, ML, AI visuals, and Power BI for a user group. This is absolutely fantastic. I love this link. Not only that, I got to give him some super great props for his Twitter handle, Sandeep Pawar. His Twitter handle is Power BI. So Power BI. I mean,
nice.
Bonus points for dad jokes. I know
it. I get Sandeep 100 points, right? You're not even playing for host, but we got to give it to you, man. That was absolutely fantastic. And I love the blog. I love the community content. So much great stuff. Let's see. So next up, Andreas, I've got you.
Great.
Shut up and let you talk for a second. Yeah.
So security, okay, first and foremost, this is a great video by Arjman Samuel. He's one of Microsoft's IoT security gurus. But what's great about this video, if you're getting into IoT, security is a must. Security is different. You got to juggle a couple of balls in the air when it comes to IoT. Device platforms are different. You have to worry about connectivity. Devices change. The firmware is different. You got to send out updates constantly. So what he does in this 20-minute video is he walks you through what are the big ticket items you want to be aware of, the 7 properties of a highly secure device, such as making sure it's constantly updated, making sure you're always thinking of zero trust. You're always getting, you're getting hit. You're assuming breach. Continual updates. I just mentioned that. Least privilege access. So he walks you through those, and then inside of Microsoft, inside of Azure itself, we have the different products that you can apply to help you with your IoT security. Azure Device Updates, Azure Defender for IoT, which is one of my next blog links that I'm going to talk about, Azure Sentinel, how that all ties in, Azure Sphere, all these devices that come packed with Microsoft security, Azure IoT Edge for making sure that you're securely connecting to your container registry and pulling down validated images. And he just does a really good job of explaining that landscape, giving you the setting your ball rolling and into the next phase. You're like, okay, I know what I need to do now to go and apply security to my IoT landscape. So it's a definitely great entry video for anybody who's getting into IoT security.
Well, and one of the things I would say, zero trust, that's a buzzword within Microsoft, right? It's a very important buzzword, but why don't we talk about that concept for just a second for people who may not have heard what zero trust is? Anybody want to take that? You know me, Donkey from Shrek. I can just keep talking. But anybody want to cover zero trust real quick? You got it. You got to go for it, Andre. Yeah.
Zero trust principles. Use least privileges access. Always assume breach. Verify explicitly that you're authenticating and authorizing people into your systems. But always at the very high level, assume breach.
Yeah, and that is so key. Assume breach, because breaches will happen. If you've been in this game long enough, it's not a matter of if, it's just when. And if you're young in your IT career and you haven't experienced this, you will experience those things. There's a lot of different things I can think of over the years. And if you're a really good learner, one of the keys is to look at what happens out in the world and go, what if this was our environment? What if this was, happening here? How would we have prevented this? What are the steps that we're taking? I recall, and this is years and years ago, when I was working for the U.S. Army, there was a hack that had happened. Well, it wasn't really a hack. What had happened was it used to be standard operating procedures that you had a copy of the production database on your laptop. And someone had that production database on their laptop. They went home and it was stolen. And it was the database for the Veterans Affairs database. Every former and active duty veteran for like the last 40, 50 years, their PII was stolen, home addresses, social security numbers. And because that laptop was stolen and they didn't know if they were going to get the data off, it could just be somebody wiped it, sold it to a pawn store, and they never knew what they had. But because of that, a letter had to go out to over 24 million veterans, letting them know that their information had been hacked. And I remember I worked for the U.S. Army on a cadet command at Fort Monroe at that point in time. And it made me look at the processes that we had in place. And I changed my patterns and my behaviors because of that, because I went, wow, this really could have happened to us. And the data that we had also was very vulnerable. That led to changes that we had across the board. And so one of those key things is, assume breach. It's going to happen. But when you see other people make a mistake, learn from that mistake, because that's a really key way to make sure that you're not suffering from that and you're actually learning. All right. Sorry, off the soapbox there, but zero trust, fantastic stuff.
Great sidebar there, bud. Like it.
Josh, you're up next. This is another call from our community speakers, right?
Yep, this is from Will Valita. He actually pushed this in, and it actually goes well with our theme of security up to this point. So it's actually how to configure code scanning of Bicep in GitHub using Defender for DevOps, which Microsoft Defender is our suite of security utilities and services that we have within Azure and Microsoft. And this is just a great thing to, great article that walks you through configuring it, integrating Defender for DevOps with your GitHub actions, and being able to secure your deployment pipelines. I thought it was very interesting.
Absolutely. It's amazing. And I also love it. I love content when content creator adds a video as well as the content and IT of how to be able to do it, because some people, very much they want to read, they want to look at the static web page. Other people, you really need to hear it talked about and hear it processed.
No, absolutely. Everybody's different. And, for me, I can do both, but having both of them, I can do either, but having both of them there between the blog and the video just makes the content that much better for me. So yeah, for me personally anyways. So I love that as well.
Absolutely. Okay. So next up I have Neeraj. Oh, sorry. Let me come here.
So talking to Andrew, where he was giving his experience, how did he end up onto tech industry from a veteran? I just did some research and I was like, oh wow, this is a good article from Christine telling us how veterans can get jobs in tech industries, why tech industries, is explaining why they should be a good fit for the tech industries. And then she goes over what things needs to be qualified, how you can prepare it up, what type of jobs they can do it, and very nicely written down, right? And then there are a couple of industries that are supporting it out also, veterans. So something that would be interesting for veterans to go ahead and look for it.
This is fantastic. And you're absolutely right. This is a wonderful, wonderful way for any veterans who may have watched the episode or anybody who directs a veteran to the episode. Andrew had some really, really great advice, especially if you're transitioning into tech. This is a wonderful blog that talks about ways that you can partner with people, those skills. And I love it because one of the things we talked about with Andrew, right, was he has these sets of skills. And in the military, you look at that as just doing your job, but those skills make you exceptional and amazing, especially in the private sector. And I love it because some of these are just outlined right here. Building stuff, self-discipline, self-motivation, problem solving, full level of commitment, strong attitude, willingness to want to succeed, teamwork, communication, helping teammates to solve problems. Those things exemplify the veterans that I can think of, that I've worked with, that many of us have worked with. And they're also just wonderful attributes that make up teammates that we have. And so this is absolutely a wonderful field if you're a veteran, you're looking to transition to get into with IT. And it's a great blog, Neeraj. I really, really enjoyed that. So next up, again, from our community call for contact, we had a great blog from Andy Cutler. Andy shared with us, and this is his guide that he put together specifically, and he blogs over at serverlessSQL.com. And it's on getting certified for the Data and Analyst Associate certification, the DP 500 exam. And what I love is he walks through the basics of how to be able to do this using serverless to be able to query JSON, goes through the open row set statements, gives you some examples, helps you understand the different concepts that you need to know to be able to go and pass this portion of the test and this skill set. Absolutely love it. Andy, thank you so much for putting this together. Thank you for sharing with us when we called for content. And folks, if you are looking to take the DP 500 test, this is a great study resource for you to go and be able to take. So you should definitely check that out. Let's see. Next up, we have Andreas.
And the reason I picked this one is because it had Ninja in the title. Because ninjas are better.
I see Andreas is already on shaky ground for tomorrow.
Maybe you're better today.
I think we've established that I can't give negative points in a round table, so I'm just going to remember that down for Tuesday when Dan's playing for you.
Okay. There's a great article by Kim Wall, and what he does is, if you're interested in, if you, like I said before in the video, from Zero Trust for IoT, Microsoft Defender for IoT, great product to give you full visibility of all your assets on-prem, in the cloud, devices, manufacturing devices. I want to be able to scan all that's on-prem and take all that information, continuously monitor them, look for threats, look for behavioral analytics, look for any anomalies. Has firmware changed? Has security changed? I can do that all with Defender for IoT. It seamlessly integrates with Cloud Defender for Cloud and Sentinel. So I can take all that from, I can visualize it on Cloud for Defender, push it into Sentinel, and then if I wanted to, I could even add in a third-party CIM tool like Splunk if I wanted to. But what he does in this article is he gives me a nice learning plan to get familiar with the hows, how to create the agent, how to create the connectors, how to scan, then start getting into doing much more advanced anomaly detection and behavioral analytics with all my devices that are on-prem. Way to go, Kim, for this. Thank you for this learning plan.
Well, and I absolutely love that he breaks it down to where we've got these individual modules. So we've got videos, we've got the PowerPoint decks that goes along with that as well. So if people want to get access to that and be able to step through it themselves, you've got this to where you could make your own study guide or for your resources or a learning plan if you're on a team and you're trying to teach your team how to be able to do this. This is a great, wonderful asset that is already put together for anybody that needs to be able to do this type of work.
Definitely.
Great stuff. Great stuff. All right. So next up, I've got Josh. And Josh, tell me a little bit. I see we've got our good buddy Robert Kane over here.
Yeah. This is from Robert Kane. He's a good friend of, good friend of ours. Brad and I worked with Robert Kane previous to Microsoft. He's doing a lot of trainings lately, putting those out onto Pluralsight and things like that. One of the things he's been embarking into lately is KQL, which is the query language behind Azure Data Explorer and things like that. So he's got some great posts out here diving into KQL, including this one, which is just a good post on, using argmax and argminimum functions within KQL. More so than just this article, Robert's a great resource on training around anything analytics, and now getting into Kusto and KQL that I really wanted to bring him to, to our followers, our watchers, and our viewers and things like that, so that they could share in that resource.
Absolutely. Some fun historical trivia on Robert. My first pre-con that I ever got to do at the past summit, Robert invited me to do. He has been working for so long on PowerShell and so many other things. The man's depth and knowledge just absolutely amazes me. But he invited me and Jason Strait. And while we were working on that, that's when I actually got notified that I was going to be an MVP for the first time. So very, very cool stuff. Robert's just a absolutely fantastic person. So Neeraj, up next, sticking with the security topic, I have you.
So Garfield Security, this guy it's just not just one blog. There are multiple blogs. He puts down all the hacks that are happening or what types of ransomwares is going on. There are multiple blogs in this particular site and giving us updates on it, right? I mean, LinkedIn was verified on it. There is a blog below it where it's how a ransomware guy went into it and was caught after that. So something that definitely some people would be interested to read about it to protect their data. And that's main cause of it, saying what type of people get hacked on it. I think the author also got hacked, and that's where he started writing this whole blog about it. And that's why that's a good article to read about it.
Wow, fantastic. Yeah, Brian Krebs and the Krebs on Security blog. That if you are interested in operational security and what's going on in the world, especially when it comes to different security events, this is definitely a fantastic one for us to watch. So I'm up next, and this is my final entry, and also from our community call. And again, thank you to everyone who participated and shared your blogs with us. This is Oliver Van Steenland, and he is a developer, and he blogs on many different developer associated topics and database topics. This is database projects and Azure DevOps merging changes. If you've never had to merge changes before, or if you're a beginner at DevOps, or you're looking at, hey, I've got this first code that I put in there, but I need to be able to merge my changes into a branch and then be able to push them out, this is a great place to come and look. Merging is really, really important. It's important to be able to understand how I'm going to merge those different branches in, to be able to get the branches in a proper format for me to be able to have a production release that I'm going to push out. This is an absolutely great just introductory tutorial on how to be able to do that and how to be able to handle those merges.
Branches and merging are really critical, right? I mean, for DevOps, so, and it's hard to understand sometimes.
Absolutely. Critical topic. All right. So Andreas, next up, I have you with the DevOps Security Workbook.
Oh man, this is a nugget that I found the other day, and I love it. Especially, how many of you working with GitHub DevOps? Yes, please. Okay, everybody's working with GitHub or DevOps, and we're developing locally on your machine. You have configurations, you have IDs, you have passwords. Hey, how many places do I got to make sure that none of that gets checked in? What if I want to go and check and see if any secrets? It will go, the workbook would scan all your repos and give you insight into where in your repo, in your code, there's secrets, and a bunch of other goodies. Indicate your security posture paid. There's a security posture component of it that shows your security posture within Azure DevOps or GitHub. Great little workbook that you can throw into your mix. Easy to deploy.
And security things in the GitHub.
Absolutely. No, and it's great because all you have to do is go and grab this workbook, and you'll be able to utilize it, pull it into your console, refresh the portions of it that need to be able to run, and then you'll immediately get this back. Fantastic, very easy to use, great stuff. All right, so last up, Josh, I've got you, granular cost management for Azure Data Factory.
Yeah, so this is actually from a friend of ours, Cohen Verbeek, from, honestly, from Brad, from your running club. That's what I'm going to call it, Brad's running club on Twitter, of data professionals who just keep in touch and cheer each other on through running, biking, whatever, just getting out and doing things. But Cohen has a great blog here on on enabling a new preview feature around a billing report within Azure Data Factory, so that you can actually get a better idea of how much your pipelines are costing you per month. Obviously at the beginning, if you have thousands of pipelines, it's going to generate a pretty lengthy billing report. So for folks to keep in mind, but it's, I would look at it as a great opportunity to generate one maybe in a dev environment, to look at how much it's costing there, if you have scaled down dev environments. But it's a great opportunity to, great new preview feature to help you get more visibility into your cost around Data Factory. I know in the customers I've worked with, customers I've talked to you all that you've been working with as well, more transparency around the billing of Data Factory has been something that customers have been asking about. So it was, I love to hear that this was landing as a preview feature, and Cohen has a great blog just how to turn it on and things like that.
Fantastic. I love it. Yeah. And Cohen is great. He's always super active on the Twitter thread we have. It's so funny. I don't like to take credit for it, but it started because Tom LaRock and I were running during the pandemic. And I would start off by writing to him, "Dear Tom," and Ben Weissman hopped in, and I didn't know Ben, but I knew Tom knew Ben. And so I'd go, "Dear Tom, dear Ben." And then Aaron Stellato jumped in, and then Wolfgang jumped in. And then more and more folks, and I had to stop putting people's names because it was taking up all the characters in the tweets. And now we've got this amazing group with like, I want to say about 34 folks in it.
And it's global. It's all over the place.
Is.
It's not just the US. I mean, Cohen's in Europe.
For running?
Yeah, for anything, for biking, for walking, for lifting weights,
Nice.
for swimming. Like if you go out and you get some athletic activity completed, people just go in there and they go, "Hey, here's what I did," and we all cheer each other on and we root for one another. It was really great because when I was running the half marathon this past weekend, I was literally snapping pictures during my Tabata timer because I run and then I walk, I run and then I walk. When I would walk, I would stop, and wherever I was, I'd take a picture. And I just pin a location to it and throw it on Twitter, so that way folks could see it. And had a lot of wonderful people reach out and support. And the funny thing is, just because natively this comes in your iPhone now, the tweets were getting read to me as people were sending motivation. And you used to have an app specifically that would translate that to. And so it was really nice. It felt like I had a lot of folks there. I hit a wall at about 16 kilometers, and that helped me push through and go, nope, we got to make it to 21. Let's keep going. Yeah.
Wow.
So yeah, no, it's neat because it was a very organic thing. Like I said, that we started back in 2020. Still going today. It's going strong, and more people join it all the time. But Josh is right. South Africa, all over the U.S. We've got Denmark. We've got Wales. We've got Germany. I mean, so many wonderful locations.
Yeah, I'm looking over
Australia.
here trying to scroll through it and get. I mean, there's just so many people in there. Rob Sewell, SQL DBA with a beard, another great one. Tayob, one of the MVPs.
Oh my goodness, and he is so amazing. He runs so fast. He is just the most phenomenal athlete.
If you ever want to be belittled about how much physical activity you can do, just start looking at his times.
It's so funny. I ran the 10K and I posted the 10K, and Tayob posted something, and I looked at it and I'm like, oh my God, am I as fast as Tayob? And then I realized I was posting in kilometers. He was posting in miles. And so I was running like a 7 minute and 35 second kilometer. He was running a 7 minute and 35 second mile. And I was like, not faster than him. Not at all.
That's a lot of good speed.
Oh yeah, he is absolutely amazing. Okay, so I guess a couple quick reminders.
Yep.
I am the host this next Tuesday. Take a look at your SQL Saturdays and your datasaturdays.com. There are a lot of them going on. We are live this Saturday, me and Josh.
Sunday.
Sunday. That's right. Yeah, Sunday. Saturday is check-in day. Sunday is pre-con day. Josh will be there with his sparkly hat. And I see you're wearing your speaker shirt right now. Hey, Josh, where is it that will be?
Oh my God, Brad! You know where it is at? It is at the beautiful Lowe's Royal Pacific Resort and Conference Center on the luscious grounds of Universal Studios Orlando.
Maybe when you check in, you should say that. Maybe when you check in,
I am going to say that, but I doubt the front desk person is going to be able to give me that black card for getting any reservation.
I'm gonna drive over just to make sure that I'm there, so you can say that, and I'll take a video so we can send that out.
I am so happy to be here on the luscious grounds.
Absolutely, we might have to do a live broadcast of just walking around, showing people stuff.
Oh, my heart.
I know. And so also remember, if you're not at Live 360 with us, but you're at the past summit, you have access to videos. And we did the Tales from the Field Azure SQL migrations. That video is up. It is online. It is available. If you have any questions, reach out to us. We'd love to talk to you. Veterans Day is tomorrow. It is Friday. Remember, if you see a veteran, thank them for their service. Again, standing in line, buy them a cup of coffee at Starbucks. Do something nice. Make sure that you look at the different charities and organizations that we do have available to them. Guys, is there anything else that I'm forgetting?
Oh, we are going to be live next week on Tuesday from Live 360, right?
We are, yes. Special guests still to come. We're gonna find some people. Maybe we'll just rope them in at the last minute, but that's going to be a fun time. We will get some of our fellow speakers to be able to join us.
Yep.
Yes. Anything? Oh, a quick reminder. We'll be here next week, but the week after is Thanksgiving. While we will be off, we will have content that will drop that will be here for you. So we will drop content on Tuesday. We will drop content on Thursday. Keep in mind, and oh my goodness, do we have some amazing guests scheduled for you when we come back from the break? I'm so excited. We've got 3, maybe 4 people that I can't believe we're talking to. It's going to be phenomenal. You're not going to want to miss a show.
Agreed.
That's
everything. Just keep watching the YouTube right there, aka.ms/tftf/YouTube. Take you right to the YouTube channel.
Sounds good. All right. Anything else, gentlemen?
No.
Have a great weekend. See you guys Tuesday from Live 360.
See you later.
Today's gonna be a good day. Wake up. Today's gonna be a good day. Wake up. Today's gonna be a